Welcome to toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi. I am today in Tokyo. In fact, I am in Kichi Joji, just about to go and see my friend Ishii-san, who owns the toy shop Toy Cats, which is a place I have to go and visit at least once or twice every time I come here, because there's always so much to see. In fact, this is the second time I've been to see Ishii, because I came here a few days ago and did a whole load of trading with him. Every time I now sort of come to Japan, I always bring a box load or as many things as I can fit in my suitcase of toys that are not easy to find in Japan, and I trade them with Ishii for stuff that I cannot get easily back in the UK. So I'm just about here. Let's head on down and we'll see what sort of stuff he has today, because last time I was here I didn't actually do any filming because I spent so much time doing trades with him, and I also mess up with Kurodon and Jeremy Tokyo Toy, and we did a sort of bit of trading as well. So I'll show all of those bits at the end of the video, but for now let's head on into Toy Cats and we'll see what sort of stuff he has today. Right, I am here. This is Toy Cats Showcase. It's about a 5-minute walk from the station. It's really not that hard to find, just down a couple of little back alleys, and it's a little underground sort of dungeon of toys, but it really is worth checking out. So let's head on down and we'll see what sort of stuff Ishii has today, because not only do I trade with him, I generally always buy some stuff as well. So just let's go and have a rummage and we'll see what things he has hidden in his display cases. Right, so that is it. I have done my last bit of shopping at Toy Cats, because in a few days' time I've got to head back to the UK, but I spent about an hour in there filming and sort of having a rummage around, seeing what sort of items he had. And as always is the case, I've actually picked up a few more pieces and just sort of purchased a few last little gems, because rummaging through his display cases you always come across something that you didn't know was there. And it is absolutely packed from floor to ceiling with items. So if you do manage to get to Kichi Joji, make sure you come here and have a good rummage around, and just say hi to Ishii. He's a lovely guy and he was more than helpful, and will always show you stuff. If you want to sort of find that hidden gem, he will happily sort of rummage through his collection and sort of pick out the pieces that you need. But anyway, I'm going to head back to the UK in a few days' time, and I will film the rest of this video. After a couple of weeks holiday in Japan, I am now back here in the UK and back at toy-polloi, and I've had a chance to rummage through all of the bits that I picked up, and in front of me here are the pieces that I picked up at Toy Cats. Now when I go to Japan now, I'm sort of quite organised in what I do, because I've been there so many times, and I found a very useful thing to do is to take a little card that shows how much 100 yen is, and 500 yen and all of that, to the pound, because it's quite hard to work out sometimes when you're in a shop and you're sort of rummaging around what it's going to cost you to buy something. So for years now I've been making these cards. You can see I've got one for pretty much all of the trips I've done in recent years, and I always stick a little funny picture on the back of it. This time it was Alan Partridge, but we can look at last year's one. We had who's that, Captain America, and then before that there's a Star Trek one. So these have been very useful, because it means that it's a very quick way for me to check the price of things. So when I buy something and it says it's 2,000 yen, I can go, all right, 2,000 yen, that's £14.18. So I know exactly what it's going to cost me. So if you do go to Japan or anywhere really, it might be worth just making these. I know it's a little bit of a nerdy thing to do, but they have proved very useful over the years. Anyway, now let's take a look at the bits I bought. As you can see, it's quite a varied selection. Some of the bits are modern and some of the bits are vintage. I picked up a few of these, which are Transformers Creo figures, and these are, I'm going to say, a little bit like a knockoff of Lego, because they are essentially Lego, but they do transform, and they're little mini figures. And I picked up a few packets of these because I have a friend who really likes them, and I picked up some blind bags. These are for him, so I'm not going to open them, but I picked up myself a Blast-Off because I quite like Blast-Off as a figure. It's one of the very few figures I bought as a child, the original Blast-Off, not this Creo obviously, and I do quite like it. So I think it was only, I think these were only a couple of hundred yen each, pretty cheap, but it's nice just to have a little figure like that to add to my collection. And I also picked up a few more of the metal collection Takara Tomy Star Wars figures. Now if you've been watching my channel, you know I bought these over the years. I think Takara have actually stopped producing these, but you can still buy them sort of second hand. So I picked up a Rey and a Kylo Ren that Ishii had in one of his cabinets. That was 300 yen and that was 500 yen. I actually think he gave me a bit of a deal on these. I haven't actually opened these yet, but I'm assuming they're in very good condition, probably not even opened. I will be opening these and putting them on display, because that's what I buy these sort of figures, because they do look quite nice. Now these are obviously from The Force Awakens, not my favourite of the films. I'm more of a vintage guy, but I like these figures enough that I've wanted to sort of pick up a few more to sort of go in my collection. So there we have Rey. They're nice because the bodies are made out of metal, and then there's just sort of plastic limbs around the edges, and they are quite weighty, and the detail in them is very nice. So that's that's Rey. Let's look up Kylo Ren. We'll open him up and see what he's like. Again, it's a nice weighty figure because it's predominantly all metal, and he just comes with his lightsaber. So we'll just slot that in. I think these are certainly better than Hasbro's figures that they've been producing in the last few years. The quality on them is much better and the detailing is very nice. They are a little bit smaller. Obviously these are only a couple of inches tall, but they do look really nice. So those are the sort of last of the modern bits that I picked up from Toy Cats. Now we come to some of the bits that Toy Cats is really known for, and that's Micronauts, Microman and the Henshin Cyborgs. So in front of me here we have some of the Microman figures that I picked up. I picked up this, which is a nice sort of green neon version of Microman, and this is Miller. His number is M123 and he's a clear green Microman. This is a vintage one, so it's a very nice condition vintage figure, almost sort of brand new. There's almost no wear to it, and it comes with his little original sticker sheet there. So very nice little addition to my collection. I do like getting the odd vintage figure, but sometimes they are a little bit too pricey for me, but that's why I would then buy a reissue. This is a Toys R Us reissue, and I think this guy is M122. His name is Michael, and it's a Toys R Us exclusive, so it's the same figure as that, but just in a clear blue version, and it comes in a clear case, and this was released sort of in the late 90s. And then I did pick up a Micronauts as well. So this is a Microman Micronauts, and this is again a reissue figure. But you can see it's just such a lovely sort of design, really sort of nice chrome there, and a real sort of lots of sort of extra detail added to his chest and his body. It's a really lovely figure. Now there are vintage versions of these figures, but I just can't afford them, and the reissues will do me just as well and look just as good in my collection, so I'm really pleased to get that. And then I did buy one final reissue, which is this one. This is the Rescue Team series, and this is an e-hobby exclusive 2-pack. You get 2 figures in this. You get M261, which I think his name is Chris, and then M262, and he is Adam. Let's just open this box so you can have a little bit of a look inside. But these are basically the same as the vintage figures, and they come with a little booklet there and some stands, and then the cases are in grey. I think the original cases were in white, and they have this little feature where you can ping a little robot up and down. He sort of fires up and down a tube. I don't know if you can see that there. But again, these are figures I've had before, but I do like the reissues just because they come in sort of multiple colours and that, and the boxes and box artwork always looks good. So these were the Microman pickups from Toy Cats. Now this is probably the biggest and most expensive item that I got from Toy Cats, and I'd actually got this as part of a trade because I always take a few bits, as I say, with me that I know that Ishii can't easily get in Japan, and this time I took a load of Star Wars stuff, some boxed Star Wars vehicles and other pieces, and I traded them for this. Now Android A is one of the sort of the later figures in the Henshin Cyborg line, and was only around for a very short time, so he's a very hard figure to find, and very hard to find boxed, even though this box is pretty tatty. Now people in the UK and US may recognise this figure, or at least parts of this figure, because he has an opening chest plate and a little sort of engine block part that goes inside it. Now this figure was sort of rejigged and reissued in the UK and the US as the Android with the Cyborgs line, but you can see here he's incredibly tiny because the UK and US versions were much smaller. The head is obviously different as well. This is a much more sort of robotic head, but this Android A has a humanoid head. So let's get this out of the box because I think it'd be nice to see him in his full glory. And here we have Android A standing next to my original Henshin Cyborg. Now these figures are particularly hard to find, so I'm really pleased to be able to get this in my collection, and it is just such a cool figure. I do love the feature, the fact that you can pop open his chest here, and he's got this sort of engine block part that you can pull out. It's just a nice little sort of gimmicky feature and adds so much to the toy, but they are quite rare and a little bit on the delicate side, so I'm going to put this on display and be very careful with it because I don't want to damage it, but it's certainly a very nice item to have in my collection. I'm really pleased to finally get one. As well as going to Toy Cats to buy and trade stuff, I also go there to meet up with some friends, and this time I met up with Jeremy from Tokyo Toy, and we always do a little bit of a swap. I give him a load of toys and he gave me a load of toys back, and this is a small selection of the bits that he gave me. There's a few more bits in the bag, but this is the sort of bits I thought would be of most interest to my viewers here at toy-polloi. And the main gist of this is it's all sort of Gamera based stuff. So he gave me this book, which is a sort of history of collectible items for Gamera. You can see there's a whole load of sort of different vinyl toys from all through the eras. This book is in Japanese, but that doesn't matter because you can still admire the pictures and see which sort of bits you need to collect. So it's a really great sort of selection of toys through the years, and a lot of this is based around this toy line. So you can see here all of these little vinyl toys are based from this Japanese sort of monster movies, or monster TV show stuff. It's also stuff that I really like because I generally buy Ultraman sort of monsters, but this is not a line that I really knew much about. So Jeremy very kindly has sort of given me a starter selection of those. And if you want to find out more about it, then while I was in Tokyo, I did record a video with him, which he's put up on his channel. I'll put a link to that in the description so you can hear us sort of talking and chatting about toys, including this toy line. And that's what most of these little vinyls are. There's a few other bits here that are Godzilla related. So we've got this little sort of super deformed Godzilla, and then a Gachapon version of Godzilla from the early 90s, and some other little keychains you can see here. And Godzilla doing some sort of funny little poses. There's another one here with him in a slightly different sort of quirky pose. I think pretty cool things. And he also is trying to get me into Dragon Ball Z, and he's given me one of the first figures. Well, this is the very first Dragon Ball Z figure to go in my collection, and this is apparently his favourite character, which is called, I've got it written down because it's not something I know, Future Trunks, and this is a Keshi, so this is a sort of rubberized figure, and this one's called a Full Metal Jacket because it actually has a sort of die cast little body piece there. Again, more information on this in Jeremy's video, which as I say, the link will be in my description for this video. And he's also given me a little customised Microman. He likes to sort of take apart some of these reissue figures and sort of rejig them. So this is a modified version of a figure that came in the founders pack of figures. So this is based on an early Microman because it has the bare feet there, and he's changed the heads and sort of hands and bits on it. So it's quite a nice little customized figure there, which will go nicely on display here. And a few other little pieces to do with the Microman were included in the pack of stuff, like a spare case and a whole bag of useful bits. So as always, a big thank you to Jeremy for doing a trade with me. It's always nice to sort of swap parts with fellow toy collectors. And I also had a chance to meet up with Kurodon from Kentucky Fried Gaijin, and we did a trade as well because we've been sort of trading for a few years, and he gave me this selection of stuff. In the middle we have what I think is the body of a vintage Henshin Cyborg, although it looks really minty and clean, so it may be a reissue, and the sort of waspy parts are from the Neo Henshin Cyborg line, which was released sort of in the 2000s. I think it makes a really great figure. It's a sort of combination of old and new, and all these parts can be removed, and you can sort of swap them about with other sort of figures. Now this did need a little bit of repair. Don always likes to give me something that's a bit of a project, and it had very loose legs, which I've already fixed on that. Don also gave me this, which is another little rescue team Microman figure. This is M251, and this is Robin. This was missing one hand, and again I've always got spare hands, so I've just popped a new hand on that, but that's a lovely little figure. And this is a vintage version, I think, just judging by the sort of state of him, but it's a nice little figure, again one that I didn't have, so he can go in my collection. And then he also gave me a Hoodman. Now Hoodman is something that I don't think many Western people will know about. It's another Microman figure. As you can see, it's a very tiny little figure. In the West we got given these sort of things, which are Galactic Defenders, but you can see how much larger he is than a Hoodman. Now this is the first Hoodman I've ever owned, and it's going to go straight in my collection because it's just such a dainty little figure. It's so sort of tiny and delicate, and really looks like any part of it could easily be broken, but it's such a lovely little toy, and as I say, the first Hoodman I've ever had in my collection, so that's a nice little figure there. So a big thanks to Don for doing this little trade with me. So that was it for this year's trip to Toy Cats, but it's always really nice to go there and have a chat and have a rummage just to see what sort of stuff that he has there, and it's great to be able to meet up with some fellow toy collectors and YouTubers and just generally chat about the things that we're interested in. As I say, we did end up in a bar afterwards and sort of carried on chatting and drinking and discussing all of our hobbies, which is really great fun. So if you ever have a chance to get to Tokyo, do make sure you go and visit Toy Cats in Kichi Joji. It's about a 20-minute sort of train journey from central Tokyo out to Kichi Joji, so it's really not far, and it's just such a great shop to have a rummage in. But do be aware that his shop is not open all of the day, so make sure and check what sort of times he's open. He generally opens between 4 and 8 in the evening, but always message him just to make sure that he is open. So I hope my video about visiting Toy Cats in Tokyo has been of interest to you, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching toy-polloi. Subscribe for more great videos. You can also follow toy-polloi on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
What I really like about this place though